What's the raunchiest dare you've ever seen in a game of truth or dare? A girl got dared to get a facial. She came downstairs with cum still on her face as proof, and then another girl was dared to lick some of it off. The second girl refused to do it. When I was in middle school, someone was dared to press their ass cheeks up against a glass door and poop. They got stage fright and couldn't follow through. But they sure tried. I performed the dare. A girl in our group laid on her stomach, propped up 3 all-dressed chips in between her ass cheeks, and I had to get down there and eat them out. She got embarrassed when I went for the crumb lick. Edit. Wow. My top comment is about eating a girl's ass chips. Happy Boxing Day, guys. This definitely isn't the raunchiest, but it's one that was the most memorable and went to a surprising place. When I was 14, maybe 15, I lived on a block that was full of girls who were also in my age range, 14-16. There were 5 girls, me, and one of the girls' twin brother. One night in the summer, we're all hanging out in the backyard between my house and the brother-sister, as they were my neighbors. Our houses were kind of the middle point for everyone else, so we'd all basically hang out in front of one of those houses or the backyard. We were all friends and would spend most of the summer outside until midnight or later just hanging out. One night, the brother and sister's parents went out of town to visit some family. The kids got to stay at home and hang out. My parents, or any of the other ones, were easily reachable and able to help if anything happened. When we hung out that night, they brought out some tequila. Everyone sat in a circle and they just sort of passed the bottle around taking drinks. I didn't, because I didn't like the idea of drinking alcohol at my age and then lying to my parents. So everyone is sitting and messing around. We start to play truth or dare. The brother is drinking a lot of it. Everyone else is probably tipsy or getting drunk. Someone asks the brother truth or dare. He says dare. She looks around for a second before looking at his sister and says, I dare you to make out with your sister for X 10. I think it was seconds. It gets a bit of a you. Gross reaction. Yet, with much less hesitation than you'd assume, she shrugs and her brother, just ducking, goes for it. It felt like they went a bit past the required time. It was definitely shocking and weird. The brother was puking pretty bad about an hour later. TLDR, our twin brother and sister were dared to make out. They made out. Me and my girlfriend played with another couple that we were friends with. Each person ended up giving oral to their non-partner. I think truth or dare was just an excuse to break the ice. Went streaking with the neighbors. In college we had 2 attractive neighbors, so on a Friday night my roommates and friends were playing King's Cup and they asked me to run to the neighbor's house and see if they wanted to go streaking with me. They ended up being drunk and one actually wanted to go. So off we went completely naked and I saw she had a tattoo on her lower back in Chinese. I asked her what it said on our run around the block and she said it means friends. Cool girl. Still keep in touch with her. Edit. Spelling. I was dared to flash the street below my tits. We were staying at a hotel outside of DC for a history bowl competition. I was 18 and in my senior year of high school. We were all around 17 at the time, and had found a copy of a game called Foxes and Minks. It was essentially a game of spin the bottle mixed with truth or dare, and intended for swingers. It was published in the 70s by my best guess. Needless to say, the game went on too long. There was plenty of pants and shirt swapping, removal of clothing, and the longer it went without the obviously intended orgy, the more uncomfortable it got. I think we finally stopped with one friend who ended up with his dick in a cup. We unanimously agreed sitting naked in a chair was not going to fly, and a cup was somehow the compromise. We called it a night, traded back all appropriate clothing, and went home very confused. The cup got thrown away. I was dared to have sex with someone in front of everyone else who was playing the game. Was at a party once. A guy said he'd drink a cup of spit on a dare. We rounded up like $34 and everyone hawked the nastiest logie up they could manage. Dude drank it. Said it tasted warm and lumpy. A buddy of mine was dared to lick the underside of another person's torn toenail. The thing was almost completely torn off and was flappy if the bandage wasn't on. He didn't even hesitate. My GF at the time and I were playing this hooker version of Monopoly with her friends. It was a couple dudes. One of their GFs and us in the room. Instead of properties you own sex moves. Some spaces were truth or dare spaces and I ended up having to wear nothing but my GF's panties and the other guy's GF's bra. 3 guys and 3 girls in a hotel room. We were playing using an app or deck of cards and just kinda messing around. Skipping over the more outrageous ones as we weren't drinking. One girl gets one that says to strip to underwear and take a shower. No one expects her to do it but she just throws all caution to the wind and goes for it. Completely unexpected. Very much appreciated. I dared a chick to give me a hand job in high school. She probably would have done it without the dare. But it was a roundabout way of asking for one. All straight males 14 or 15. No one did dares but eventually 2 did and they started to perform moral on each other for dare. I went home immediately afterwards because that isn't at all what I thought what our truth or dare was going to turn into. It was funny and friendly at first IDK how that ended up happening. All straight males aha. Was 20 or 21. 4 guys and 3 girls. Drinks were had. We were drinking jungle juice on the beach. Point being there was a lot of fruit around. One of the girls dared all the guys to do the grape test for her. We did. I passed. Bragdart. The grape test? Have you the fortune of never hearing about this stupid it? Is something teen college aged girls came up with in the early 2000s? Basically if you want to know if a guy has a good dick you balance a grape on it, falls off no good. Stays on it's thick enough. I barely remember it. But I do remember the tallest guy in our group complaining the wind knocked it off. Lol. After a night of rum and pool party debauchery a game of truth or dare had escalated to a room of mostly nude people. The last dare was to a girl sitting on straddled on her boyfriend with her top off he was as naked as possible. She was dared to pull her panties to the side and start ducking him. It was at this point everybody just kind of understood the decision that was being made. This ducking thing was on or it wasn't. They got up right then and went downstairs and everyone retired to their separate corners to have our private fun. I'll never forget that moment though. The put up or shut up moment when we all collectively shut up. For the record, I was ready to duck and rumble. Probably not raunchy but when I was like 16 I was dared to run down the street butt ass naked to a stop sign that was probably about 200 yards away. It was like 30 out that night and I literally stripped all the way down. Not even socks. The street is a busier one with nothing but a wall on both sides. But luckily no one drove by when I did it. Had someone driven down, they would have 100% just seen a naked dude running towards or away from them. As I wouldn't have had anywhere to hide.